Hey, what's up, fantasy people? This is Tyler, Big Turd Ward, coming at you live from my garage, and this is the Fantasy Footballin' Show. So anyways, today's episode is the Week 5 Footballin' on a Budget. So it's the waiver wire pickup show, and, balling on a budget because we do $100 fab in our league, and I just kind of go through telling you what I might spend on a player. Don't take that as concrete. Your opinion matters. But you can kind of get a general idea of who to get and what kind of priority and what kind of money to spend on them. So here we go. If you saw the real life fantasy football emergency episode last night, you know that number one waiver wire pickup this week is Latavius Murray. So Latavius, he went like 11:58 and a touchdown and looked really, really good for the Saints on Sunday. And the Saints screwed up. They should have kept him on the roster. They sent him back down to the practice squad because they didn't want to keep too many running backs. And when they're on the practice squad, some other team can sign him. But now the rule is if you sign somebody off of somebody else's, if another team signs your player off your practice squad, they cannot be sent back to the practice squad. So Latavius Murray is now part of the 53 or 50, whatever it is, for the Broncos. So that was a huge investment by the Broncos. So they were looking around for running backs, I'm sure, ever since Javonte Williams went down. I am a Javonte Williams owner. So I'm going hard after Latavius Murray. I thought I would rather have him than Gordon last night when I made the video. But after some reflectance and thought, I would still rather have Melvin Gordon. And if you want to try to put a trade for him together this week and try to get Melvin Gordon on your team for cheap, this would be the time to do it. But if you just don't want to mess with any of that, I think putting a big bid in on Latavius Murray will be big because, it might be 60-40 Melvin Gordon, but Latavius Murray catches passes. He's a good pass protector. He's going to be getting a lot of snaps with Russell Wilson in this offense. And this offense is going to do nothing but get better because it is so bad right now. I'm getting the ball for my dog so I can throw him away from me. So next up, I'm just doing running backs right now. Brian Robinson. Oh, I'd spend $50 on Latavius. I mean, when it comes down to running backs like this, I mean, Javonte Williams was, a fantasy MVP candidate. He goes down. This is the type of stuff you spend all your fab on. So don't worry about putting too much fab on him. You can worry about that later. But if you need running back help, just like, as bad as I do, Latavius is going to be your best bet for going forward for a while. Brian Robinson, he's getting activated this week. And if you know anything about that, he overtook Antonio Gibson for the Commanders, starting running back job in the preseason. So we are going to look and see how Brian Robinson is. But if you wait until he goes and takes over the job, you're going to be spending $100, you're not going to be able to get him. So get him right now. Jason, the lucky bastard, Uthenwalt, my partner. My partner for the show is, has had him for like 4 weeks. So he's a great pickup. Do that. I'd spend $15 on B-Rob. Next up, Tyler Algier. I went back and watched all of his runs this last week after Patterson went out. And, man, Algier looks good. That's my dog. But yeah, so Algier looks amazing. I wouldn't worry about Huntley, because they have more invested, like a 5th round pick into Algier. But people forget that Damian Williams was there the first week. He was the starter the first week, and Damian Williams is a very capable running back. Chiefs, Bears last year. So if Damian Williams comes in, and they run the ball like 40 times a game. So I think Algier would probably get moved down to a flex and, maybe running back 2 for Damian Williams. So this is kind of a Damian Williams. See if he's available in your league. And don't be afraid, spend $15. But Algier is was a much more promising rookie. And I thought he looked great last week. So I'd probably just play the lottery ticket and go with Algier and see how much, $15. But if you can get him for less, maybe you go in for Damian Williams and see if Algier is still available tomorrow when you wake up. So $15 on that. I think that'd be a great fill-in for running back needy teams. And then Raheem Mostert, number 3. If you can get Raheem Mostert, he's getting 72% of snaps, even though Edmonds has been getting all the touchdowns. So although it looks like Edmonds is the more valuable running back for the Dolphins, that is not the case. Mostert's getting all the opportunity, and I'm still waiting for this run game to explode because McDaniels was a run game coach for the 49ers. So he's got the passing game going. This running game could still explode. And if they get the running game going, Mostert is going to be like a top 10 running back, no problem. $15 I'd spend on Raheem Mostert. Next up, Pacheco. If Pacheco is available in your league, Jason just dropped him because he was looking for wide receivers or something last week. He looks like a beast. I mean, he's like a 7th round draft pick for them. But pretty soon it's going to be like 50-50. And as a 2-year CEH owner, he is going to get injured. And that game when Isaiah Pacheco takes over for an injured CEH is going to be nuts. So if he's on your waiver wire, you should pick him up. And, I'd put $15 towards Pacheco, maybe even more. But he is going to be somebody that you stash for later on. It's not like these guys that can help you immediately. So depending on how desperate you are and how many wins you have, go either way with that. So next up, Rachaad White. So yeah, Rachaad White, he got actual positive yards for the Buccaneers last week. That's something that Leonard Fournette did not do. He finished the game with -3 yards. But there was only 6 rushes for them anyways, because they got down by 14 to Aaron Rodgers. So this is just a stash. You're not going to start him right now. But it looks like he's getting more and more involved, and the coaches have expressed wanting to play him more. So I'm looking at Rachaad White. I'm spending $5 on him. I'll spend $10 on Rachaad White, just because it's got to be a Fournette injury before you can play him. And then last one, I'd spend $1 on Gus Bus. So I drafted Gus Bus last year, and then he got injured the next week. But hey, man, Gus is awesome for the running back for the Ravens. And if you watch the Ravens, their run game is insane, man. That fullback, that Ricard, that 300-pound fullback they have is awesome. And J.K. Dobbins looks good, but he left a lot on the field. It almost just looks like he doesn't hit the open hole. He just kind of goes. So we got to see how Gus is doing. Obviously, he's not going to be as healthy as J.K. Dobbins, so it might take him a little bit. But if I don't get anybody, I'm picking up Gus tomorrow morning. So here we go. Running backs, that's super important this week. We just got through those. Wide receivers coming up right now. So my number 1 wide receiver, if you saw Dobbs is still on our waivers for some reason. I'd spend $25 on Dobbs. He's getting those screen passes that look like Devontae Adams. He's getting more involved. The only scary thing is, my preseason hype train on Christian Watson came to a screeching halt with his injury, but Christian Watson could be, the big explosive guy here. But as far as, consistency, like the old, Randall Cobb type of stuff, or Devontae Adams without the super high-end scoring, Dobbs is going to be the most consistent guy on here. So maybe, Christian Watson might have a 30-point week every once in a while. But if you want consistent wide receiver play, Dobbs looks like a great pick. And that's, I'd spend $25 on him. Next up, George Pickens. I was watching that game. I own Pat Freiermuth, and that was awesome to watch. Because as soon as Kenny Pickett came in, it was all nothing but it was Freiermuth, Pickens, Freiermuth, Pickens. So you want to get these two guys, one of these two. I already have the tight end, so I'm probably not going to invest into Pickens, but I might just pick him up just to see if he explodes. But hey, man, next to Odell Beckham, he already made the catch, and now he's got the opportunity. So if you're looking for a high-end wide receiver on a waiver wire, there's probably 2 of them, and then my dog's barking at me. I don't even see the ball that he wants so bad. Oh, it's right here. I'm sorry, guys. Having pets and trying to do videos, man, it's tough. Anyways, so Pickens. I'd spend $15 on Pickens. He's going to be a heavy targeted, super talented rookie. Michael Gallup. He only had 3 targets when he came back. But, part of the target share, nobody really got that many targets. So Michael Gallup, super involved. And if you know anything, he's got great chemistry with Dak. So you could almost see Michael Gallup being the number 1 wide receiver when Dak comes back and takes over. So Gallup could be, you know, a top 24, top 20 wide receiver on the waivers right now. I'd put $10 on Gallup because I don't think anybody's really thinking about that right now because he only got 3 targets and he's been injured all year. So anyways, that's that. Next up, Isaiah McKenzie. So Jamison Crowder just broke his ankle. So now that slot, you know, I know Isaiah McKenzie just had a concussion, and now it's him and that 5th round rookie Shakir, and Shakir looked really good. But hey, man, Isaiah McKenzie has been almost breaking out for 2 years now. As soon as he comes back from, concussion protocol, he's going to be maybe the 2nd target on that team because I love Gabe Davis, but he doesn't get the targets. Isaiah McKenzie's going to get all of those slot targets. So, like a more talented Cole Beasley from last year, yes, please. I'd spend $10 on McKenzie, and don't be afraid to spend more if you have to. Next up, Duvernay. Man, Duvernay, he's this clear number 2 for Lamar Jackson, and Rashad Bateman might be out this week, maybe another week with that foot injury that he's got. So Duvernay, he's already getting, you know, touchdowns on kick returns, and he looks amazing when you see him in real. I mean, when you watch him play, game speed. So Duvernay, if he's available, I'd spend $5 on Duvernay. And then next up, Josh Reynolds. As long as Amon-Ra Brown is out, you are starting Josh Reynolds. He's getting a lot of those targets. Similar type of player, not as talented or explosive, but hey, man, if you need a flex or a low-end wide receiver 2, pick him up and start him. I would spend $5 on Josh Reynolds because he's just a rental until Amon-Ra gets back. Devontae Parker, he's been actually doing pretty well. I'd spend $1 on him just to watch and see how Mac Jones is doing, but it could be because Jacoby Myers has been injured. Oh man, I can't remember the rookie for, God, I just talked about him so much. He's going to get put on IR, the Tennessee rookie, Treylon Burks. And so Robert Woods is going to be the number 1 dude there just by default. But if you remember that Kyle Phillips, he's like a later round rookie for Tennessee. He had a great week 1 and then he got injured. So if you want to pick up Kyle Phillips and see how he plays without, for the next month without Treylon Burks, that could pay dividends if you're needy of a wide receiver. And that's a $1 dart throw right there. So that's pretty good. And then the last thing for wide receivers I'll say is James Williams or whatever. Anyways, he is that number 1 wide receiver, the most talented wide receiver. He would have been the number 1 pick, but he tore his ACL or whatever at the end of last year in college, and he's going to be coming back for the Lions soon. So the Lions, they've got Amon-Ra St. Brown in the middle. They're going to have this hyper talented, super crazy guy on the outside. And if you know anything about the Lions this year, their defense is terrible, and their offense is amazing. They've got a great offensive line, and Jared Goff is actually hitting people. So you better pick up Jameson Williams, otherwise you're going to be spending a lot of money here in like 3 weeks. Okay, so that's as far as that goes. And as far as, quarterbacks and tight ends, it's terrible right now. So, pick up Jared Goff, pick up Trevor Lawrence. I know Trevor Lawrence had a bad game last week, but Eagles defense is for real. And just do what you can to get by. Maybe Teddy Bridgewater. I mean, he came in and, it's all about yards after the catch for McDaniels in that offense. So maybe there's not going to be that big of a drop-off because it's just going to be short, accurate passes and let him go. And then tight end, check to see if Njoku's there because that's 2 weeks in a row. And he could be the number 1 waiver wire ad out of everybody just because tight ends are so terrible this year. Anyways, thank you so much for watching until the end. Hopefully you liked this video. And if you did, you can do it in real life. My dog is barking at me, dude. It's terrible. Come here, Banjo. His name is Banjo Kazooie, Anyways, thank you so much. If you don't like this video, thumbs down it, leave a hurtful comment, tell me what I'm doing wrong because everything helps. Anyways, this is the Fantasy Footballin' Show, and we will catch you later.